Hi, 7th grade. Hope you all had a great Yontif. We're going to try and get back into the sugi a little bit. So we're starting from the second line on Gimel Amud Aleph. So, says the Gemara, Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav. We have a statement that says, Eid Zomim Mishan Lefi Chalko. That an Eid Zomim, a witness that became a Zomim, has to pay according to his chalik, according to his portion. Now, ask the Gemara, My Mishan Lefi Chalko. What does it mean that he has to pay according to his chalik? We're going to have 5 pshatim. We're going to knock out the first 4, and we're going to stick with the 5th. So here goes number 1. If you want to say that this guy pays his half, and this guy pays his half, Tanina, we already learned that on Daf Hey. Mishalshin b'mammon ve'em mishalshin b'malkus. We know that Reuven and Shimon actually split the money payment if they both became Eidim Zomim, but they don't split the Malkus. They would each have to get 39 Malkus. Ella could go on shot number 2. The case is like this. If only one of them becomes Huzam, then only Reuven has to pay his half. Shimon gets off the hook. If we know that Reuven was actually in LA, but we can't prove that Shimon was there, only Reuven pays his half. Umi Mishalim, asked the Gemara. Tanya, we have a brisa from Gemara Chagiga that says, Ain't Eidim Zomim Mishalim Mammon Achi Zom Shneim. They don't become Eidim Zomim until both of them pay. Till Reuven and Shimon become Zomim together, that we prove that they were both in LA. That can't be pshat. Amarava, I'll tell you what it means to be Mishalim Lefi Chalko, to pay according to your portion. This is what it is. Pshat number 3. Amarava. But Omer Eidish Sheker He'adti. If Reuven admits in a different Beis Din, and he says, I lied with Eidish Sheker, with false testimony, then he has to pay his half. Shimon's not admitting to it, so Shimon doesn't have to pay. Ask the Gemara, Kol Kamine, is that all true? Because we have the principle, Kevan Shehigid Shuv Eino Chazer Magid. Once you say something, you're not able to go back onto your word to make yourself into a Rasha. So that can't be Pshat either. Ella, Pshat number 4. But Omer He'adnu V'huzamnu B'Beis Din Ploni. If Reuven says that I was made and I became Huzam in Beis Din Ploni, and now I ran across the street and I'm telling this Beis Din, then only Reuven will have to pay. Well, that can't be according to Rabbi Akiva, because Rabbi Akiva says Moda B'Kanas is pater. That once you agree to your fine, you admit to it, so you don't have to pay anymore. So if Reuven escaped the Beis Din and went to another Beis Din before the case was closed, and he admits to his fine, then why should he have to pay his half? How can that be what the Gemara says is Mishan Lefi Chalko? Let's see it inside. Elakaman. It says, Kaman, who is that like? Delok Rabbi Akiva. Can't be going according to Rabbi Akiva. Why? Rabbi Akiva. If you tell me it's like Rabbi Akiva, Ha'amar af en mishalem alpi atzmo. He says that you're not going to pay based on your own admittance. So Reuven is not going to pay. So it can't be that that's what it means. Mishan lefi chalko. Ella, last and final pshat. Here we go. But Omer he'adnu. B'huzamnu b'Beis Din Ploni, and here's the extra point, b'chuyavnu mammon, is that Reuven admits, me and Shimon, we were made in whatever Beis Din, and we became Huzam, I escaped, and by the way though, we also became Chayiv. Beis Din said case closed, and then I took a run for it. Now, if Beis Din were Mechayiv us, says Reuven, then I'm not making myself a Russia anymore. Because the Beis Din across the street already made me a Rasha. I'm not being Marshia as Atzmo, it's Atzmi. They already made me a Rasha. So it's not a problem of making myself a Rasha. And that's what our final case of Mishalim Lefi Chalko, that you have to pay according to your half, is Reuven admits he testified, became Huzam, and Chayiv in Beis Din Ploni. So the first question I want you to answer is, what is the 5th and final pshat for what makes Eid Zomim Mishalim Lefi Chalko? Okay, a little more. What's the chiddush? What's the new idea that Mishan Lefi Chelko teaches us? Because you might have thought, came into lechavri lo matzi mechayev le. Since his friend Shimon, we didn't find to be mechayev him to pay. Shimon didn't admit it. So in Hunami lo mechayev. So I might have thought, well, we can't be mechayev Reuven either. Kamash Milan. So we have Mishan Lefi Chelko to teach us that Reuven still has to pay. So for question number 2, to write down on your sheet, I want to know why does the Gemara need to tell us this teaching of Mishalim Lefi Chelko? And that is because I might have thought Reuven doesn't have to pay if Shimon doesn't admit. Okay, before we start the Mishnah, just a quick joke. What does the nose say to the finger? And the answer is, stop picking on me. Okay, so here's Marriage 101. Just a review. We've done this a few times. Let's really get it clear. So if Abraham marries Sarah, right? So Abraham's going to give Sarah a ksuva, a little piece of paper. Probably doesn't look so much like this, but it gives her a piece of paper that says, I'd love to stay married to you forever, but if our marriage ends, if I divorce you or if I die, then I'm going to have to give you about $50,000 or whatever the amount is to live a nice life for 1 year. Now, when Abraham gives this ksuva to Sarah, he actually assigns a plot of land on his property to be the $50,000. So if the marriage falls through, either through him divorcing her or him dying, then Sarah actually gets to keep that plot of land. While they're married, Abraham can eat from that land as much as he wants, but he cannot sell it. He can't sell it to his friend Bob. But what he can do is he can sell what's called his suffix schus. He can sell a suffix schus to Bob. He can say, Bob, I can't sell you the land right now, but if Sarah dies, that means the marriage is over. I get to keep that land. Instead of me keeping it, it's going to go straight into your bank account. And that's for Bob. So Bob is able to buy the suffix schus. Sarah is able to do the same thing. Sarah can't take the land yet until the marriage is abolished by his divorce document, the get, or by Avram's death. But Sarah can sell her suffix chusa. She can say to her friend Sally, listen, if Avram divorces me or if he dies first, then this plot of land is going to go straight over to you. I'm not going to get it. Okay? So with that, let's go ahead and see this Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Me'idim anu es ish ploni, shegirish is ishto. Reuben and Shimon say we're made that Moshe divorced his wife, v'lonas la ksubasa, but he didn't give her ksuba yet. He actually owes his wife $50,000, or let's say that plot of land. Says Reuben and Shimon, the Edim that just became Zomim, v'halo bein hayom ubein lamacher sofa litain la ksubasa. Maybe Moshe is actually going to divorce her today or tomorrow, and he'll have to pay her that $50,000 anyway. So Reuben and Shimon say we're not actually being mafsid Moshe anything, because he'd have to pay the $50,000 anyway. So what does the Mishnah say to do? 2 different options in the Mishnah. Option 1, Omdin kama adam rotze litain b'ksuvasa shel zu. We have to, Omdin means evaluate. We have to evaluate how much would somebody pay for the ksuva of this marriage between Moshe and his beloved. She'im nis almana or nis garsha, that if his wife would become an almana, a widow, or nis garsha, she becomes divorced, then she would get to keep it, i.e. that's the suffix chusa. How much would somebody pay Moshe's wife to be able to keep the ksuva field? Ve'im mesa, or if she dies, yershin baila, then the husband would inherit the land. How much would somebody have paid Moshe to be able to keep the land after her death? So it seems that we have 2 different understandings in the Mishnah. One is suffix chusa, that Reuben shouldn't have to pay how much she would have sold her suffix chus, and the other one says suffix chuso, how much would people pay Moshe himself for his suffix chus? Okay, Says the Gemara, Asakasha, Keitzid Shaman. How are you going to evaluate what Reuven and Shimon have to pay? Because it can't be a suffix chusa. Reuven and Shimon are not being mafsid Moshe how much his wife would have sold the suffix chus for. So Amar Rav Chisda, probably the most pashut answer, Bibal. According to the suffix chuso, his Moshe's suffix chus, because he says, yeah, you're right, I even have the get written, it's in my back pocket. I was going to give it to her tomorrow, but in the meantime, I wanted to sell my suffix chus. I didn't get the chance to do that because you just said that I divorced her already, so I want that $1,000 that I would have gotten from selling my suffix chus. So for your third and final question, I want to know what does it mean suffix chus? And the answer is how much Moshe could sell the rights to his ksuva property. Okay, you can explain it however you want. Rav Nassim bar Shai Omer's second pshat is explaining the Mishnah. How much do Reuven and Shimon have to pay? It says be'isha, living means in the wife. That means we don't pay the suffix chusa, how much the wife would have sold her suffix chus. No, but we assume that the wife would die first. Moshe, the husband, would get to keep the land, so he would really get to keep the $50,000. It seems like Reuven and Shimon are making Moshe lose all 50 because they're saying that he owes the ksuba right now. So Reuven and Shimon are making Moshe lose $50,000. Reuven and Shimon say not so fast, because in the meantime, before Moshe's beloved would have died, she might have sold her suffix chusa. And who's going to be the first one in line to buy it? Actually, Moshe. Moshe wants to buy it, and there's a way to ensure that he gets to keep his own property. So then Reuven and Shimon only have to pay $45,000 or $45,000 split, as we saw above. We'll see again on Daf Hey, but that's what it means, Be'isha. And just the last little bit for tonight, Amar Rav Papa says, Be'isha B'ksuvasa, that it's just like what Rav Nassim bar Shaya said, the $45,000, but there's another price that Reuven and Shimon don't have to pay. This is Nichsemi Lug. If the wife brings a certain piece of property into the marriage, that means that Moshe, the husband, gets to eat from it at the time that they're married. If he divorces her, the wife takes it back. And Reuven and Shimon say, we didn't know that she brought that Nichsemi Lug, that property, into the marriage. So we were only trying to be mafsid Moshe, the value of the ksuva, not the Nichsemi Lug. We didn't even know about the Nichsemi Lug. So we're only going to pay what the ksuva was evaluated at, or what the ksuva minus the suffix chusa. So that's it. Hopefully we'll get ourselves back into the sugya soon, and have a wonderful night. I'll see you tomorrow.